in that as a project. I think people felt that sci-fi films were as dead at the box office as were westerns and musicals. And so when you saw this concept of little robots and furry creatures and a fairly unknown cast, except for Alec and Peter Cushing, you began to think, well, really, this is all a bit of a waste of time.
Well, for me, it was just another movie, something that was a bit different, but we weren't really expecting it to be a hit. You know, the talking around was, well, it's not really going to do very well.
The designers and technicians had been turning George's vision into a physical reality.
I was employed as a sculptor, and as a sculptor, I would be actually modelling in clay anything that was wanted.
I was a Saturday boy, so I had the general jobs of making tea, clearing out the back of the guillotine, etc., etc.
I only had a thumbnail sketch, really, of Darth Vader, and then I worked it up from there. So you've got a fair amount of licence within in the clay. When John Barry was the designer, so he was coming in every day and had something to say. I did Darth Vader completely. That's the helmet and all the armour he had on. Chest piece and legs.
I remember George Lucas and Norman Reynolds coming to the engineer shop, and they had a look round, and the very first job was we had to make the grille for the land speeder, and they were looking at doing the dents for the front of the speeder. So we made it out of tin plate, and that way when they got to the desert they could push the dents in with their hands to however they wanted, and from then on we got all the little engineering bits for the belt buckles and Vader's little knurled pieces here, lots of knurling, and then obviously CP3O's arms, which were made out of aluminium, and those got sent back from the desert because Anthony Daniels, he swelled up in the heat, and we had to panel beat them wider so they didn't cut into his arms.
It's amazing what they had, milk crates, they had all sorts to make the spaceships up, just sporting all sorts of waste materials, and just with artistic license made the spaceships up. We were working for quite a few months before they actually started shooting, doing all the figures and everything, so that, I mean, the camera can never be held up. If you've got actors and schedules and that's it, everything has to be prepared before the camera starts turning over.
I loved working in the studio.